we would start today with, we'll do two things today. These are the highlights of the class for today. The first thing is we're going to go through some strategies in how to deal with reading passages, okay, within 1 hour. And then we are going to shift to the writing. And task number one, writing an essay, okay? This is what we're going to be doing today. As for the listening, I'm not going to work on listening, okay, but I'm going to just send exams. I'm going to send exams, Ya Abdullah, about what? About listening. This is what I can do with the listening. And then later I can send the mark scheme or the answer key. Okay, so let us start with this reading passage that I've just sent. I sent like 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday, I'm not sure. But first, let us go for some important tips when dealing with the reading exam, okay? So let us write here reading tips. And number one, don't expect to understand every single word, okay? Every single word. I mean, the reading exam is not designed to do this, to understand every single word, that's for sure. We need, when we practice, remember this, we need to practice our, let us say this one, practice our reading skills rather than what? The skills of what? Of Ielts. We don't have like Ielts reading skills. It is reading like any other reading, okay? But maybe different format and that's it. Something that you have to understand about Ielts, instructions. You have to be careful when you read the instructions. So let us say read the instructions very carefully. And I'm going to tell you how. And let us leave a space for this. Ignore anything, which is fine, by the way. You need to ignore, overlook any, let us say, prior idea or anything about anything like that you know about the topic. Of course, some people will say, Ya Malak, Mr. Alhamdulillah, this topic, I know a lot about it. By the way, it's going to be a privilege. But sometimes the question are not asking whether you know more about this topic or no. Sometimes they don't ask about this. When it comes to the instructions, I really care a lot about, because many people can lose many marks because they are not following the instructions. What do you mean, teacher, by instructions? I'm going to tell you something. If you have been instructed to write, for example, no more than 2 words. So you are only requested to write either 1 word or 2 words, but not 3 words, okay? And it's a big issue. I don't want to go through it right now, but what I need to tell you right now is we have some small words. People like could just say like they are not words, but they are words. Like what, for example? An, the. Not only those, but the prepositions like for example, on, in, at. You understand? كلهم حضراتكم are calculated as what? Or let us say counted as what? As words. Remember this. So if you are asked to write 3 words and you write, for example, an amazing scene, so that's 3 words, so it's completely wrong. So remember this. On the other hand, there are some hyphenated words and we consider them as 1 word. Such as what, yeah, Mister? We can say, who remembers state of the art when you said like modern technology or cutting edge technology? State, this is all hyphenated, state of the art, okay? This is considered one word. Remember this. So they are not more than one word. Any like what I just said it, like cutting edge technology now, or like you can say self-conscious or self-improvement. Self-improvement. This is كمان يا شباب, it's only one word. You understand? طيب, dates, time, numbers, خلاص كده كلهم are considered as what? As one word. Remember this. Okay? So before we start, it is important to know, like, nobody will be able to figure out the meaning of every word. It could be contextual. The word, the difficult word could be contextual. Mister, أنا فهمتها while I'm reading what? While I'm reading the paragraph. But most probably, there are some words that you are not familiar with, but you still can answer what? Can answer the questions. طيب, Mister, what am I supposed to do when I approach a passage like that? Do I have to do the reading first or go to the questions or move to the questions? What do you think? Who's going to answer me? You start reading the questions, the passage, or you move on to the questions? Yalla, waiting for you. Waiting for you. Malak, Ali, Abdullah, Arwa. Amal said, we go, Mister, go to the questions first. Move to the questions. Malak, question mark. Okay. So, may I ask a question, Malak, in order to what? To remove your doubts about it. Remember that this is the passage. And in academic IELTS, the passage is just really long. It's long. So would you be able to grasp all of this and then you go to the questions? That's a hell of a work. You are torturing yourself. You understand the point? But before going to the questions or moving to the questions, which I, of course, recommend, I need to look at what? I need to look at the passage. Maybe I can read this one that I should spend like 20 minutes in order. I mean, this is the first. I mean, that's the question in every passage. Okay, of course, it's known. And it's 13 questions. So I need to make sure that there are 13 questions. Okay. And what else, teacher? And I need to look at the captions. I need to look at the captions, titles, like, you know, like drawing, cartoons, something like that, you know, like titles, posters. And then I need to go to this subheading. Our conception of time depends on the way we measure it. Maybe these are the things that I should what? I should be familiarized with. I should be familiar with before moving to the question. So I have got this mindset, like, Mister, and I know what I'm gonna like. The questions are all about what, okay? So it's about what? A chronicle of time, what? Keeping, like a record of time, what? Keeping, okay? So it's all about what? The clocks and time and stuff like that, which is more than enough. And then once you see letters here, A, B, C, D, so make sure that you're gonna encounter some matching questions, okay? Type. You have got like how many paragraphs from A to H, okay? And then you move to the questions. What are we supposed to do in the questions? I mean, like what? Those people who started or just did before, like some IELTS and did some readings before. What are you going to read? I mean, like what? Do we start with questions 1 to 4, or you're going to go for 5 to 8, or, I mean, you go for the diagram here, or what? Who can tell me? I mean, like what? You do 1 to 4 at a time, and then you go to 5 to 8, and then at a time, and then you go to the last questions, or what? Yalla, I need to hear you right now. Anybody who would take the initiative and
Mister,
give
I
his say?
didn't for the islets, but I believe like you see which parts you remember of the like you feel like you can figure out and start with so you don't waste time, I think.
This means that you have already read the passage or parts of the passage. Now, we haven't read the passage. We don't know what's going on in the passage. You understand what I mean? The point is, who wants to talk? Ali. Maybe Ali will say something now. يا علي, and I have got the first question, the 4 questions or 5 questions here, 1 to 4. Reading passage number 1 has 8 paragraphs, A to H. Remember this. And A to H means what? Amal said section by section looks better. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay. These are what I mean, your opinion, okay, which I would accept for the time being, okay, but I don't recommend, of course. A to H, you know what does it mean? Like, it means whole passage. Somebody would say, teacher, is it important? No, sometimes they skip. They skip what? They skip one paragraph. So, I mean, like what? I don't have to read this paragraph. You got the point, at least in this question. Sometimes you say like what? It's A to E, for example. So it means what? H is not there. But H could go with other questions. You understand the point? Yeah, you have to be careful about that. Okay. So, and then, which paragraph contains the following information? And this is what? And this is, in a way, it's a sort of matching, right? طيب. وبعد كده عندي 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, the point is, Miss Amal said what? She said, I'm going to do like question or section by section. She's going to do question 1 to 4, okay, first, and then to go to the other questions. I can tell you now that this is a waste of time. A waste of time and effort, I'm telling you. You got the point. So what are we going to do? Okay, so take Mr. Ahmed's strategy here. Based on how strong your memory is. Remember what I say. Based on how strong your memory is. I'm not talking about the passage خالص. I'm talking about the question. خلاص كده؟ طيب. إيه اللي هيحصل? Read 2 or 3 different types of questions, like 2 sections or 3 sections or 3 bunches of questions. That's bunch number 1, that's bunch number 2. So according to or based on your memory, like how many questions you could grasp and contain in memory. خلاص كده؟ طيب. وبعدين ايه يا مستر؟ Do any required underlining. يعني هقول ايه يا مستر؟ انت يا مستر انت عايزني ان انا to go to these bunches, this bunch of questions and then to go to the other 5 to 8 and then read them all? Yes, you have to. Because simply, I'm telling you, you can go to paragraph number 1. You can go to paragraph number 1 and you tell yourself, Mister, and I found an answer for one question, for example, question number 2 and question number 5. In section, yeah, and that's the second type of question, and this is the first type of what? The first type of questions. Mister, are you sure? Yes. So the point is, if you're going to do some questions like 1 to 4 at a time, and then you go back to this question, 5 to 8, you will find yourself forced to start from the very beginning, or it depends on your memory. هتقول يا مستر أنا I remember I've read it in paragraph number 1. So the point is, why don't you just read the questions as if you are scrutinizing them? يعني you read them carefully. You do the underlining if you are doing a paper-based test, if you are doing a computer-based test. So you just highlight and you read them pretty well. Even if you are doing the computerized, based test, I mean, you can have like a notebook and you can write down whatever you want. You understand what I mean? So you say what? Is it only like you're going to read 1 to 4 and then 5 to 8? Do you have to go for the other question? The other question is mainly a diagram, and that's easy to spot and scan and detect the place for. يعني ايه مستر؟ هنا عندي الheading here, how the 1670 lever-based device worked, okay? And I have got some good lead words, which are this one, lever-based device worked. And then I have got this kind, that's we call it escapements. For sure, I'm going to be able to find it out. So if you look at a question like that, simply, ya Yusuf, you go to the passage and you say, what, Mister, then very, very simply, I can spot the place. Mr. 16, it's here, yeah, Mister. That's in G. It's here. And if you look here, escapement. So you are almost here for what? For the diagram. So the diagram, there is no problem about it. So don't worry that much about the diagram. Okay, it is in that paragraph. And you come here and you write what? For example, diagram questions. Diagram question. Write it in a way very short and contracted way. طيب يا مستر يعني انت بتقول ان احنا we need to read all the questions first? Yes, we need to read we need to read all the questions or as much as we can. As much as we can. طب تعالوا كده بقى نقول ايه ونعمل underlining ليه. So we'll go to the first question and we say يلا كده معايا underlining the lead words. Underlining the lead words. A description of an early timekeeping invention. That's one. Affected by cold temperature. That's two. And you bear in mind synonyms. You bear in mind what synonyms. You might not have it as such, but you need to what? A bit of what? A change, like, I mean, based on what? The meaning of these words, okay? طيب, يبقى this is one. يبقى يا مستر أنا بدور على إيه? A description of an early time-keeping invention affected by what? Cold temperature. What else? An explanation of the importance of geography. That's one. In the development of the calendar. That's two. Where in farming communities, okay, agriculture communities could be. Add three. A description of the origins. That's one. Of the pendulum clock. Add two. Origins, and you just like underline it more than once. What else? Details of the simultaneous efforts. يبقى simultaneous efforts like exerted at the same time. Of different societies. But this is one. Of different societies. That's two. To what? To calculate time. To calculate time. That's three. Using what? Uniform hours. And when I say like uniform hours, like almost like what? You know, like similar or same hours or same whatever time, right? طيب يبقى ده واحد. Is it enough? لا حضرتك. You need to go down and look at the following events, questions 5 to 8, and list the nationalities below. عندنا هنا حضراتكم nationalities. Okay, match each event with the correct nationality A to F. These are the nationalities يا شباب A to F. Okay, remember the instructions. We need to be careful about what? Reading the instructions. They, and these are what? The people, nationalities. Who, like who? They invented a civil calendar, that's one, in which months, that's two, were equal in length, that's three. Who are they? Babylonians, Egyptian, Greeks, English, German, French. Then they divided the day, one, into two equal halves, two. They developed a new cabinet shape. That's one. For a type of a timekeeper, that's two. They created a calendar, that's one. To organize public events, that's two. And work schedules, okay, maybe this is three. Mister, do you have any room in your brain to accommodate more? Mister, that's more than enough. Particularly, this is a diagram, and I know exactly where I can find the diagram, okay? So I say what? Are you ready? You say, I'm ready. But mister, is it healthy to turn over the page if you are doing the paper-paste test and see and look at the questions one more time? Anyway, with the first question and with the first paragraph, you will go through them all. So you will understand what's going on. You will remember everything, okay? So, and let us take it paragraph by paragraph. Okay? And let us go to the first paragraph. Are you ready with the first paragraph? Yalla. And the first paragraph here is starting this way. هبدأ كده بالراحة كده يا شباب. This is how I start it. I'm going to start it this way. According to archaeological evidence, at least 5,000 years ago, and long before the advent of the Roman Empire, the Babylonians, remember? The Babylonians began to measure time, introducing calendars to coordinate communal activities. to plan shipment of goods, and in particular to regulate planting and harvesting. Mister, and I can remember the Babylonians began to measure time, introducing calendar to coordinate communal activities like societal activities, to plan shipment of goods and to regulate planting. Mister, I can see this one here. Of course, it's not here. It's not one of these questions. Or if you want to go through them very quickly, that's fine. But they are here. They devised a calendar in which month? No. They divided the day? No. They developed a new cabinet? No. They created a calendar to organize public events. Organize public events هي coordinate communal. فاكرين ولا لا؟ communal activities. And مش عارف ايه plan shipment of goods, and which is what? Which is work schedules. You got the point, mister? And I can see it is this one. So who did this? The Babylonians. So A. So you come here and you say what? This is A. So we are done with question number what? We are done with question number A. Is there any other piece of information that I could, using it, I could answer another question? They base their calendars on 3 natural cycles. The solar day, marked by the successive period of light and darkness as the Earth rotates on its axis. The lunar month, following the phases of the moon as it orbits the Earth. And the solar year, defined by the changing season, that blah, blah, blah. Mister, till here, you ask yourself, teacher, does it relate to any of the questions here? يلا يا شباب, does it relate to any of the questions here? Tell me, yes or no?
No.
I can't hear. Yes or no? Does it relate to any of the questions here? I'm asking. يلا ما احنا we underline them. لسه ما ظبطتش معانا.
Sir, I think number 4.
Number 4, details of the simultaneous efforts of different societies. Where are the efforts of different societies? Where are the efforts of different societies? I can't see any of these here. طلعي لي يا بنتي. Efforts of different societies. I can't see.
Okay, because it said something about time or like. So
No, I mean, so we have to be careful about what about every word. Every word counts a lot. You understand? شباب, you understand the point, right? My idea is clear or not clear? But at least, mister, we are done with question number what? Question number 8 here. Okay? Then let's go to question number what? Question number, the other question, okay? I mean, paragraph B, sorry. And we're going to read. And after reading it, or sometimes you say, what, teacher, and I need to remember what's going on here. خلاص يا mister, and I'm done with this one. خلاص بقى, it's over for me. But here, what's going on here? A description of an early time invention affected by cold temperatures. Explanation of importance of geography in the development of the calendar. In farming communities. Here, a description of the origins of the pendulum clock. Here, details of the simultaneous efforts. ماشي يا mister. And I'm going to go for what? For paragraph what? And if I have got nationalities, for example, and if I have got nationalities, I have to what? To stop and go back here. Yani this is what will happen, okay? Then you go to the paragraph number what? Paragraph number, part B. Let us start this. Before the invention of artificial light, remember the question that we read, before the invention of the artificial light, the moon had a greater social impact. Nothing, teacher, nothing, okay? And for those living near the equator, in particular, for those living near the equator, maybe, isn't it geography, mister? We will see. Its waxing and waning, increase and decrease, was more conspicuous, clear than the passing of the seasons. Okay. Hence, the calendars that were developed at the lower latitudes were influenced more by the lunar cycle than by the solar year. Nothing here. In more northern climes, however, where seasonal agriculture, mister, it's farming, was practiced, the solar year became more crucial. As the Roman Empire expanded northward, it organized its activity chart for the most part around the solar year. Mister, what we have read here, okay, does it match Does it go with any of the questions here? يلا كده. A description. ها. A. One.
The number 2, I think.
It's number 2. An explanation of the importance of geography. Okay. ها. لو فاكرين near the equator. What else? In the development of calendar, it was there. In farming community, huh? Agricultural, if you still remember agricultural, okay? You got the point. So this is how it goes. يا مستر يبقى ساعتها يا مستر and I'll go for what? I'll go for 2 وهكتب هنا B. So I'm done with what? With B. تيجي تسأل نفسك سؤال. Does it have anything to do with the nationalities? Of course, no mention of the nationalities. تسيب الباراجراف وانت ضميرك مرتاح. Then we go to to paragraph number part C. يلا كده part C. And if you want to remember the questions, go back to the questions, but now don't read question number 2. So A1, description of an early timekeeping. Every now do it this way, affected by cold temperature. And here, ya mister, we have got a description of the origins of pendulum. هنا details of the simultaneous efforts of different societies. خلاص كده. وهنا عندنا nationalities موجودة خلاص. There is no problem about that. طيب تعالوا كده بقى يا شباب نشوف paragraph part C. يلا كده مع بعض. We just don't stop at each difficult word. Okay. Centuries before the Roman Empire. The Egyptians. Okay, the Egyptians, مالهم, had formulated municipal calendar having 12 months of 30 days, with 5 days added to approximate the solar year. Each period of 10 days was marked by the appearance of special groups of stars called decans. Anyway, whatever the decans is, kind of measurements. At the rise of the star, Sirius, just before sunrise, which occurred around the all-important annual flooding of the Nile, 12 decans could be seen spanning the heavens. The cosmic مش عارف ايه. Anyway, نكمل هنا يا مستر. The cosmic significance of the Egyptians, again, placed in the 12 decans, led them to develop a system in which each interval of darkness, and later each interval of daylight was divided into a dozen equal parts. نكمل. احنا might be fooled by the paragraph, by the way, might be tricked. These periods became known as temporal hours because their duration varied according to the changing length of days and nights with the passing of the seasons. Summer hours were long, blah 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 blah. تيجي هنا بقى حضرتك هو في ايه تاني يا مستر لحسن تدخلني في حتة تاني. Temporal hours, which were first adopted by the Greeks and then by the Romans, who disseminated them through Europe, remained in use for more than 2,500 years. Mister, is there any question? Is there anything that go with what we have read here? يلا. Question number 1 here. A description of an early timekeeping invention affected by cold temperature? No. A description of the origins of pendulum clock? No. Details of simultaneous effort of different societies to calculate time using مش عارف ايه. What do you think? I don't think so. طب تعالوا هنا كده بقى number 5. They devised a civil calendar in which the months were equal in length. Mister, who did this? The Egyptians. So you come here and you say what? It's here, the Egyptians. So I'm done with كمان يا Mister 5. But here, no questions that meet what I have read right now. You understand?
I have a question.
Yalla, go ahead.
For the matching, the letter is only used once, correct? Like not more than once?
Here it's going to be used once. Remember, here we have got A through what? Through F. But here we have only one question that's going to be used once. If it is going to be used more than once, it would be clear in the instructions. You understand?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you still remember. And then you tell yourself, Mister, I'm minimizing the whole thing right now. يبقى أنا what I'm left for me, يا علي, يا يوسف, يا مليجي, is what? This one, these two. They divided the day into 2 equal halves. They developed new cabinet shape for a type of مش عارف ايه. You got the point, right? تمام. وهنا يا مستر فاضل لي كام يا مستر؟ أنا فاضل لي هنا 3 questions and I just look at them very quickly ونروح رايحين حضراتكم ل the what paragraph D. paragraph دي. نمشي مع دي كده يا مستر. يلا كده بقى ونفكر بقى احنا what we are looking for right now. In order to track temporal hours during the day, inventors created sundials. Sundials. Created like invented, right? But I will never say inventors invented. You know why, right? طيب يبقى inventors created sundials which indicate time by the length or direction of the sun shadow. Okay? The sundial's counterpart, the counterpart يعني similar to the sundials, that kind of device اللي هو the water clock, was designed to measure temporal hours at night. One of the first water clocks was a basin with a small hole near the bottom through. Anyway, these are what description of what of the sundials, of the water whatever water clock. خلاص كده. وبعد كده قال ايه? The falling water level denoted the passing hour as it dipped below our lines described مش عارف ايه. Although these devices perform satisfactorily around the Mediterranean, they would not always be dependent on the cloudy and often freezing weather of northern Europe. Look at this one here يا مستر. يبقى انا عندي حاجتين هنا مهمين جدا. What are they? Number one, sundials, which is what, Mr. A device. Number two, we have got freezing weather, which is what? Which is called temperature. Which is called what? Temperature. Mr. Is there any mention of the nationalities? No. So this paragraph has nothing to do with what? With the nationalities. هو أنا كتبت nationalities صح ولا غلط؟ nationalities. Anyway, you got the point. So يبقى عندي sundials يا مستر وعندي freezing water of northern what? Europe. تعالوا كده بقى نروح. أنا ما عنديش nothing to do with what with this question. خلاص, that's for sure. But here we go to question number one here. Let us remove this. A description of an early timekeeping invention, sundial. Affected by cold temperature. Affected by cold temperature اللي احنا قلنا عليها ايه يا مستر؟ freezing what? Freezing weather of northern what? Europe. You understand? يبقى يا مستر that's for sure D. You got the point. You understand how it goes, right? You understand now how we grapple with I mean, I want you right now, tell me, is it manageable, or maybe Mr. and I used other way, other strategy, and it worked. If it worked, go ahead with it. But you need to remember that you have only 20 minutes to do the whole passage, okay? This method, this strategy would surely enable you to answer 2 questions when you read only 1 paragraph. You understand what I mean? And sometimes you can answer 3 questions. That's the point, okay?
Mister, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How do I keep track of time? Do they provide a clock, or do they tell me?
Yeah. You have to watch your watch. Yeah, you have to watch your clock if there is a clock in the hole or something. Yeah, or you take your own watch.
Also, Mister, so we are like, you think we have to read each paragraph, like after we read the questions properly and all?
Of course. Yeah, exactly. And the point is, if you are a skilled reader, okay, sometimes you see like what teacher, and I understand this is the main idea of the paragraph, okay, some details here supporting the main idea, but for questions like these, you never know. It might be in the middle. Even the main idea or the topic sentence might be delayed to the middle or even at the end. So, read very quickly, read very fast, bearing in mind what? Bearing in mind the question that you have read, bearing in mind the lead words that you have that you have underlined. You got the point? طيب. جه عندنا بقى ايه يا مستر؟ I'm left with what? Look at this one. So I'm left with here a description of the origins of the pendulum clock and details of the simultaneous efforts were done or were exerted at the same time of different societies to calculate using uniform hours. وهنا يا مستر فضل عندي يا مستر only 2 questions. They divided the day into 2 equal halves. They developed the new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper. This is what you need to to see here, okay? And we are done with the Babylonians and the Egyptians, so we are left with 4 other nationalities. Then let us do one more paragraph, and that's it. And see if we could do 2 questions by reading only 1 paragraph, okay? Then Raja, Raja, you understand me, Raja, right? You don't speak Arabic, Raja, right? طيب. Then let us go to a question like that اللي هو ايه Mr. Sorry, E. The advent of the mechanical clock. The advent of the mechanical clock meant that although it could be adjusted to maintain temporal hours, it was naturally suited to keeping equal ones. Equal ones. It might remind you of something here. With these, however, arose the question when to begin counting. And so, in the early 14th century, a number of systems evolved. The schemes that divided the day into 24 hours equal parts varied according to the start of the count. Okay, Mister, and I can smell something here. Okay, something creepy is going on here. خلاص كده اللي هي ايه يا مستر اللي هو dividing the day into 2 equal halves, okay, which is here. I don't know which question, but it is there. Is there any nationalities? And then you come here and you say it is here. Italian hours began at sunset. Babylonian, that's more than 1. Babylonian hours at sunrise. Astronomical hour at midday, great clock hours used for some large public clocks in Germany at midnight. Eventually, these were superseded, replaced by small clock or French hours, which split the day into 2 equal. That's it here, which split the day into 12-hour periods, commencing at what? Starting at midnight. And you say, what? Teacher, French, that's a nationality. That's a nationality, right? يبقى here يا مستر في nationality and في dividing the day into 2 equal halves. So you go here and you say, teacher, this has to do with maybe question number 4, yeah, Mister. Details of the simultaneous effort of different societies. We talked about what in the different societies? Italian community, society. We talked about Babylonian. We talked about what else? German.
And France.
And then French, and then France. Exactly. You understand the point, right? يبقى this is it يا مستر, and I think it's going to be E. يبقى خلاص يا مستر, I'm left with what? Only left with what? With 3. And here, let us read both of them. Number 6, they divided the day into 2 equal halves. Who divided the day into 2 equal halves? And you come here and you say what? It is French. So you come here and you say what? It is F. So in 1 paragraph, you answer 2 questions. Simply 2 questions, okay? I know there might be some kind of confusion. People will go for what? What is the nationality that did this? It wasn't very clear. But if you just went through it once more, you read it again, you reread it, okay? So it would be very clear. Or French, and I think French hours, which split the day. That was very clear. It belongs to the what? To the French, or the credit goes to the what? To the French. You understand? And this is the way we what? Yes, يبقى first now, Mister, it's only 1 question left. اللي هم ايه؟ اللي هو this one. And then you say what? Forget about this one, and I need to what? To remove all of this. خلاص بقى يا Mister, and I'm done. And you say, teacher, it's only 1 question left. Who developed the new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper? That's left here. And here, it's only 1 question left. A description, sorry, احنا عملنا اللي يا بنتي details of simultaneous efforts, yes? And here, yeah, Mister, it is, where is it? Yeah, a description of the origins of the pendulum clock. تعالوا كده بقى مع بعض. Then, let's go to paragraph number what? Paragraph part F. And you say here, the earliest The earliest weight, yeah. I'm starting from here, I'm sorry. Yeah. The earliest recorded weight-driven mechanical clock was built in 1283 in Bedfordshire, in England. Okay, تمام. Remember, in England, يبقى the earliest recorded weight-driven mechanical clock was built. If you are in a hurry and you say, teacher, I think it goes with, yeah, here, 3, a description of the origin of the pendulum clock. It might, but it's not clear yet, but yeah, almost there. The revolutionary aspect of this new timekeeper, it was timekeeper, so that's number 3, was neither the descending weight that provided its motive force, blah, 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 blah. Forget about it. That transferred the power. It was the part called the escapement. In the early 1400s came the invention of the coiled spring of fusee, which maintained constant force to the gear wheels of the timekeeper, despite changing tension of its mainspring type mesh. Anyway, these are what in details of what of the timekeeper. Then we come here and you say what it might be more important. By the 16th century, say what? Remember, there is something here that I have to what? To care about. 1283. Where else? Here? 1400s. By the 16th century. Okay? For me, this is origins. Origins of what? Of the clock, mechanical clock. خلاص كده؟ طب here, by the 16th century, a pendulum clock, yeah, this is the clock that they are talking about, had been devised. But the pendulum swung in a large arc and thus was not very efficient. Okay, and you tell yourself, teacher, so it is about what? The creation or the invention of the pendulum clock. And they mentioned more than one date. So this is what, yeah, mister, it goes to the origins of what? Of the pendulum clock. طب here they mentioned, yeah, mister, Bedfordshire in England. Does it mean the English? Let us see this one. So you go here and you say, mister, is it the question left goes with that paragraph or no? The description of the origins of the pendulum clock. You say, what, teacher? Yeah, I'll go for it. So you go here for what? For F, and you say, teacher, I'm done with this. Whatever question you do, please transfer your answer to the what? To the answer sheet without what? Without delay. خلاص? طيب, I'm left with this one. Left with 7. They developed a new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper. Do you think we go for this paragraph? Do you think it's time to go for England? You say what? Most probably yes. So do a question mark. Because you need to make sure about it. يعني, let us see here, here in paragraph part G. To address this, a variation on the original escapement was invented in 1670. In 16 what? 70. طيب, in England, mister, here it's very conspicuous, very evident, very clear. It is what? It's the English who invented this timekeeping machine. It was called the anchor escapement. Mister, there's something else. This has to do with the diagram. You remember the diagram question? Yes, this has to do with the diagram. And you say what? Before I go, I need to say here like what? Question number 7, they developed a new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper. Yes, it's the English. So you go here, you say what? It's the English, it's D. Mister, I'm done with these 2 questions. Then what's left here is this. How the 1670 ever-based device worked. Remember here, no more than 2 words, okay? طيب, and I have read in this paragraph escapement, and then you just read like like mind mapping sort of things. You read what's going on here. And here 10, and then 11, 12, blah, blah, and the small arc here. So it might help you in a way or another. And you say, teacher, I'm sure that paragraph G would answer a question like that. How the 1670 ever-based whatever machine worked. And you go here to paragraph G. But remember that you need to see what the diagram, you just keep the paper open for the diagram so you understand what's going on here. Yeah. Then it was called the anchor escapement. The anchor escapement which was lever-based device. Yeah, mister, it's here. It's here. It's here. Escapement. Huh. Yeah, this is the anchor escapement. Yeah, and I can see it here. This is the anchor escapement. Let us say here anchor escapement. تمام. Resembling, another word for resembling, it could be what? Look like. It could be look like. And then you go back here. Anchor escapement. Yeah, which was a lever-based device shaped like, resembling a ship's anchor. And you come here and you write, mister, it resembles what? Ship's anchor. And you write it here, ship's anchor. خلاص. Then let us complete. جينا هنا بقى يا مستر بعد الشيبس انكر ونقول لنفسنا ايه؟ we need to complete. روحوا لي هنا كده very quickly يا شباب. نيجي هنا نقول ايه؟ the motion of the pendulum rocks this device so that it catches and then releases each tooth of the escape wheel. تاني يا مستر, rocks this device so that it catches and releases each tooth of the escape wheel. Then you go to the what? To the diagram. Each tooth, and I think this part is the tooth. Tooth of what? What do we call all of this? We call it a wheel. So then you come here to write what? Wheel or escape wheel as it is written, because I need only to write two words, okay? Escape wheel. Then let us complete. A what which beats each what? I'm going to find it in the paragraph, that's for sure. A what that beats beats each what? You complete. In turn, allowing it to turn precise amount. Unlike the original form used in the early pendulum clocks, the anchor escapement permitted the pendulum to travel in a very small arc. Mister, I have seen the small arc. Small arc, it was here, yeah, mister. It was here, so I don't need to worry about it. It's here, small arc. And then you go back here. I'm sorry about this. A small arc. Moreover, this invention allowed the use of a long pendulum, which could beat once a second. Okay, mister, here. Use of what, yeah, mister? Long pendulum. So you go here and you say, what, teacher? It's long pendulum. Long pendulum, which beats each second. You got it? Mister, I'm done. I'm done with the whole thing. Mister, do I have to complete the what? The rest of the passage, of course, paragraph H? Of course, no. We are done here, and that's the end of what? Of the passage. You need to remember that you have 13 questions and you have 20 minutes to do what? To do the passage. Sometimes you find yourself forced to spend 22, 23 minutes in a passage that you feel like it's a bit challenging and you need to spare more time, which is fine, by the way, which is fine. Okay? This is how I deal with the reading. I'm going to ask you now, are you happy with this strategy, or you still convinced with a strategy that you used and you got used to it? Tell me. Waiting for you. Arwa. Lana.
I didn't set the Ielts. This is my first time, so I have to abide by this strategy.
You have got no other options. Okay. Yeah, but yes, yeah, Roger. But the point is, you know, the problem is, I'm not going to say the point is, but the problem is, do it the other way around. You know, like some people, they go for what? Mister, I'm not going to do this strategy. And by the way, this is a simple modification of my strategy. You say, teacher, that's too much for me. And I'm going to just read the first paragraph. Somebody else will say, what? Mister, I'm going to read 2 paragraphs at a time. Or Mister, and my memory is really strong, I'm going to read 3 paragraphs at a time. I mean, it depends on the length of the paragraph. And you say, what, Mister? And I can read A and B. And then I'll go through all the questions, which is fine, by the way. This is fine as well. I mean, if you could not contain in your memory all these questions, and you say, what, Mister, it's difficult for me. So do it the other way around. And I say what? It's a simple, it's a subtle sort of what? Modification. And you say, teacher, and instead of reading this and underlining the keywords, blah, 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 which I might forget. And by the way, and I found out while you are doing it, you come back to the questions and you read, I mean, you will read them while doing the first question and maybe second question, and later on you will remember what is in there, because even what you minimize the possibilities of the wrong answers. You understand? So you say, teacher, I'm going to do it the other way around. And by the way, I want you to try it, and maybe we can try it next time. You say, teacher, I'm going to do paragraph A and B. I will read both of them, underline, highlight. It depends on the type of the exam I'm taking, and then I'll go to the questions. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Okay, and then, Mister, I'm gonna go later for C. Gonna go later for C, Mister, and D. I'll try to read both of them, and then go to the questions. Either way, I have no problem. But the problem is, you need to try both strategies and see what fits for you. And remember, you can use different strategies while you are doing the 3 passages of the exam, because what works with one passage doesn't work with the other. Each passage has got its own nature. You understand? كل passage لها ظروفها. You need to believe in this. There is no one sole strategy. You can do other strategies. You understand? This is one. I want you, for this time, our next class is going to be Saturday. Same time, okay? Hopefully, no, you don't mind it. I want you to go through the other two passages. And remember, you can take up to 25 minutes this time. There's no problem. The other 2 passages here, I want you to go through them. Look at passage number 2. Passage number 2 always appears this way. You're going to have the questions, some questions, then you're going to have the passage, and then the rest of the questions. Remember this, because it might be confusing for some people. تاني, again, passage number 2, if it is paper-based or even electronic, you're going to have some questions here, like maybe one type of question here, and then the passage, and then you're going to have the rest of the questions. Okay? Remember one thing when you are doing true, false, not given. Anyway, we're going to talk about it next time. Okay? How to deal with questions like these. It's very important. Confusing for some, I understand. And this is your homework for the reading part. Let us now move to the writing part. And today we're going to be doing task number 1. We have got 2 tasks, okay? Let us go to the essay writing task number 1. And before we start task number 1, and I want to tell you, you should write not less than 250 words. The more the better, by the way. You can write up to 300 words. No problem about it, okay? But when you read, you need to understand how can you read a good essay. Those people who went for the IGCSE, it's quite easier for them, way easier for them. You understand? But you need to increase, the limit of words. You understand? You need to write not only 200 words, but it could be 250 or even 300 words. Okay? Maybe I'm not going to talk about the introduction that much today, but what I really care about today is the body paragraphs. And next time we can talk about the introduction, and then the conclusion. But again, I need to read this with you. This is a good essay. Which is very close to the article. I mean, and it's the same thing. You can go for expository, you can go for persuasive, you can go for argumentative. You can only support your point of view. It doesn't matter. They don't care that much about it. Okay? Type. We have got a question here, and let us see Arwa. Arwa, would you read the question, please? Go ahead, ya binti.
Some people say that we rely too much on search engines like Google and Bing to obtain information. Here are some comments people have made on the issue. If you know what you want to know, you can find it out on Google. How can you trust the information on the internet?
And that's commonly tested, by the way. That's commonly tested. Okay. What should we be doing? Okay. Do we have to write a title, teacher? Of course. Please write a title. Okay. So we go for search engines, the key to limitless information. But when you write the title, make sure that you mean it. Because as an examiner, if I saw a title like that, I'm just gonna what? I'm just gonna stop and speculate what's going on. That candidate is wholeheartedly with search engines, wholeheartedly supporting the use of what Google and Bing. You understand the point? So when you say the key to limitless information, okay, so it means for me that you will be talking about the advantages of of the search engines. But I might change my mind all of a sudden by what? By that exclamation mark. And I say what? Are you being ironic? Are you being what? Satiric? You got the point? Do you really mean it? You understand the point, right? But anyway, writing a title, designing a title like that, it is a skill, you understand? And try to what? To write things like that. Right. Teacher, what should we include very quickly? I'm not going to talk about the introduction now, okay? But what should we include in the introduction? We have got the easiest ones, Either you start with the general statement about the topic, but remember, with the essay writing, don't delve into the topic. What do I mean by don't delve into the topic? Like what? When I say what? Pollution and the causes of pollution, for example. Don't say what? There are many causes of pollution. I mean, that's too much. Try to talk. I mean, try to touch and hit the topic in a way, but talk in a broader way. Talk in a broader way first, if you want to write a general statement first, and then you be more specific. Right. What should we include very quickly, Mister, in the introduction? Very quickly, Mister. Introduction. What should I include? I said either, number one, general statement, or what else? Or you can start with a rhetorical question. Whether it's a rhetorical question or a general statement, remember this. Don't delve into the topic. Be a bit around the topic. You understand the point? Be a bit around the topic. طيب يعني ايه مستر؟ and I still don't understand. يعني حضراتكم let us say if you're talking about, for example, pollution, and he's asking you to write about the causes and the effects of pollution, for example. I might write a general sentence, something like that. General sentence. It could be this one. In fact, pollution is let us say considered the sole threat to Mother Earth. For example, Mother Earth. Okay, somebody will say, Mister, you delved into the topic, because I mean, like what? I cannot say. I can do it differently. I can do it differently with a rhetorical question. Rhetorical question, I can say this one. Okay, are you fed up with the contaminants? We have contaminants, Miss Emma, right? Are you fed up with the contaminants prevailing every corner of your neighborhood. I mean, you can start this way as well. And then, what do I mean by this? Yani, first, you tell yourself, Mister, and I'm going to start with a general statement. Or I'm going to start with a rhetorical question. I'm going to start with what? With a rhetorical question. I'm going to give you types of rhetorical questions. For me, personally, I'll go for what rhetorical question more, okay? It fits more the article, it fits more the essay writing, okay? But general statement is really good as long as it creates a sort of interest, you understand, to the examiner at least, and to your reader. That would be fine as well. Instead of this one who said, Mister, but Inta, you said don't delve into the topic, and I think Inta, you talked about pollution, though we are talking about pollution. I say, what? You just can modify it a bit. And you say, what? For example, you might say, these days, Mother Earth cries for help due to the illegal practices of many people and whatever factories, anything. Yani. It depends on the topic that you're writing about.
Instead of saying many people, can we say illegal practices taking place?
Exactly. I mean, illegal practices taking place, that would be even better. Taking place. Thank you. Taking
Also,
place.
Mr., for the introduction, it can be one line, right?
For the essay writing, in the IELTS, yani, try to make it like more than that. Try to make it more than that. But it doesn't matter if your idea could be supported pretty well in the body paragraph, that would be great. You understand? Type.
Yeah.
So you say, teacher, any introduction for our IELTS exam, it has to be either a general statement, and you don't have to talk about the topic directly, okay? Or it could be a rhetorical questions. And I'm going to show you samples of my students' rhetorical questions and introductions. And maybe some of you here have seen that before. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Just a sec. Yeah, they are here. I think they are here. Okay. Yeah, this one. Writing effective introduction for school magazine article, essays, adding vigor to rhetorical questions. Okay, here. The first one, and let us take Ali Obashi. Yeah, Ali, would you read the first one, please? Go ahead.
سامعني يا مستر؟
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it really worth to take a gap year when you are engaged in various educational and development activities?
Okay,
Although
thank you. Just wait. This is the rhetorical question. It's about what? Taking a gap year. Okay? Is it really worth to take? Somebody will say, Mister, I will go for this one. Maybe this is like, like better with, is it really worth taking? Okay? That's idiomatic, more idiomatic. A gap year, when you are engaged in various educational and developmental activities. Somebody else, when you are like in the middle of for example, completing your whatsoever year, senior year, and then once we are done with the rhetorical question, somebody else will say, what, can I add a general statement? I don't think you need to, but if you could design it in a very good way with some kind of coherence between the rhetorical question and the general statement, that would be okay. طيب. Following the rhetorical question or following the general statement, we have what, yeah, Mr. Thesis statement. And the thesis statements includes what, ya shabab, here? The argument. What do you mean, teacher? What? Tell us, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What will you be supporting in the body paragraph? You understand the point? So here, although some people regard a gap year a distraction from study, I concur, I agree, I believe, I am of the opinion it is it as a way to refresh the mind. Okay, maybe this is short, and I said like very good for an article, but maybe it's very good. You can just what, for example, I concur that it's a way to refresh the mind, and for example, this is maybe because refresh the mind is not enough for 2 body paragraphs, for example. Refresh the mind and enable, for example, youngsters, let us say, seek some precious experience, yeah, something like that. You understand? I might go for this as well. So this is something really good. Something else, when I say, for example, homework, not homework, for example, taking up risky sports. Are you going to go for it or no? Risky sports. Okay. And let us see here, maybe Malak. Would you start, ya Malak? Go ahead.
Should I read?
Yep. Only the rhetorical question.
Okay. Only the question to society.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. How could we possibly put our lives at risk in a menacing activity just to gain some popularity in the society?
Okay, that's one. Okay. Somebody can design it differently. It depends on like what, like, I mean, there is a whole question. Okay. So we need to read the whole question to understand what's going on. Okay. But how could we possibly put our lives to risk or at risk in a menacing activity, dangerous activity, just to gain some popularity in society? Okay. So that's a Mr. Rhetorical question. And that rhetorical question, okay, I mean, replaced simply the general statement. Somebody will say, "What, teacher? Can I write more than one rhetorical question?" You can write up to 2 or 3, but it should be convincing. Yani don't just list rhetorical questions. There should be another sort of smooth transition between them. And then thesis statement. That's the argument. It seems to me, by the way, the argument and thesis statement could include your own opinion. It seems to me that the idea of competitive sports can be something that will increase our physical potential or physical potentials. Somebody else says, teacher, that's very short. Mister, I'm going to talk about other people and say what, let us say, maybe we can say this one. Some experts believe that competitive sports might result in some, let us say, some psychological some psychological, let us say, disorders among young people or among school children. You understand what I mean? And then I go for what? However, it is my strident contention. It is my unwavering credence. Like, I am of the opinion that, and then you complete that the idea of competitive sports, and you say your opinion. You say, what, teacher, that length of an introduction is okay? Of course, it is more than okay. But as I told you, this is for the IGCSE. For I say that's a bit short, and they need to a bit lengthen it. You understand? Type. Then being a celebrity, are you with or against being a celebrity? Same thing here. Let us take, for example, Raja. Are you there, ya Raja? If you're there, please start reading. If not, anybody who's going to take the initiative and read here. Who's going to read?
The student response.
Yeah, who's this? Is it Raja or who?
Yeah, it's me, Raja.
Okay, Yalla, Raja, go ahead. How could we
possibly retain our privacy for being exposed to the paparazzi and live life free from
Distress.
distress.
Okay,
Like
wait a
many
second.
of you, I believe.
Wait a
Okay.
second. This is the rhetorical question, okay? How could we possibly retain our privacy? How can we keep our privacy? How can we enjoy our privacy? How can we relish? You might say this one, relish our, enjoy our privacy from being exposed to the paparazzi. You know, paparazzi, like those photographers who are like after the lives of the celebrities, for example. I mean, and most probably they are freelancers, okay, and live a life free from distress, okay. And then, like many of you, I believe that having a fame personality is undoubtedly something which is filled with mixed feelings. And when you say mixed with, filled with mixed feelings, it means what? Like what? It could be what? It could be positive and it could be negative. As an examiner, I will understand that in your body paragraph, paragraphs, for sure, you will write a for paragraph and then an against one. You got the point? So in a for paragraph, for or against first, what comes first? It doesn't matter that much. So you write one body paragraph about what being famous, the advantages of being famous, and then another paragraph about the downsides of being what? Of being famous, okay? And at the end of the day, at the end, in the conclusion, you restate your what? Your opinion, and you take a stand. You say like whether you are with or you are what? Or you are against. You got the point? Somebody would say, teacher, but this is short. If it is short, again, like many of you, instead of this, I can talk about what other people who say like what, for people, I mean, it means a lot to them. I mean, fame means a lot to them. You got the point? But you say what, I don't agree with those people, so I mean, like what attitude, or let us say point of view, but I say it is filled with what, with mixed what blessings. You got the point, right? Type. And there is something here I like more, and which is very close to your essay writing, maybe in IELTS. Let us go here to page number 11. I will send the paper, by the way. I will send this paper later today. Line number, sorry, it's 11, right? Yeah, this one. Proposal to build a supermarket in your town by getting rid of the swimming pool. That's commonly tested. Things like that are commonly tested. Students' response, and for me, it's very good. It's very good. Okay, who is going to read the whole introduction? Who's going to read the whole introduction? Let me choose. Maybe Yusuf. Yalla Yusuf. Yusuf Miligi. Would you start, please?
I have a question.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't get for the writing for IELTS, there's 2 tasks or 1 task?
2 tasks. 1 task
And
for
the
the
first,
task number 2 for the diagrams and charts and graphs and pie
oh,
charts and stuff like that. And task number 1, it's the essay writing. Okay, both of them out of band 9. Okay, if you want to break it down, task number 1 could be 6. Task number 2 could be 3. You got it?
yeah, and they're both more than, you have to write more than 250 words, or
No,
what?
no. That for task number 2, only 150 words.
And the first one?
250.
Okay.
Okay. طيب. يلا, who's going to read? Who's going to read? طيب, anybody? Anybody? Ali read. يلا يا بسنت. بسنت, would you start, please? Would you?
Would you rather have a supermarket where you can buy almost all your supplies at all the cost of the swimming pool? The majority of people tend to think that having a supermarket will be much more beneficial, while some people also think that getting rid of the swimming pool to build a supermarket is just a
Nonsensical
nonsensical idea.
Okay, let us just go through it again, okay? Slowly, okay? Type. Would you prefer having a supermarket where you can buy almost all your supplies, but that would come at the cost or at the expense of a swimming pool. Okay, so like what we're going to what demolish the swimming pool and build or establish a supermarket. The majority of people, that's the thesis statement, tend to think that having a supermarket will be much more beneficial, while some people also think that getting rid of the swimming pool to build a supermarket is just a nonsensical, that's absurd, that's a silly idea. Okay, this is a kind of a good introduction. Then we talked today about the introduction, though I didn't mean to talk about the introduction today that long, but we talked about the introduction. Remember, when you write an introduction, you need to remember, you need to start with a general statement or rhetorical question, followed by a thesis statement. After the thesis statement or within the thesis statement, you can include your opinion, or you can exclude your opinion and then you spare your opinion till the conclusion. You understand what I mean? Right. Then let us go to this is the paragraph that the essay that I want to read. Search engines, the key to limitless information. Let us start it together, and I'm just going to comment on the body paragraphs. Would you spend hours poring over books when you can search the information you want in a matter of seconds? A very good rhetorical question. That's why the title was The Key to Limitless Information. So would you spend hours poring over books when you can search the information you want in a matter of seconds? Or you can use any other idioms, okay? As the name implies, search engines have simplified man's quest to obtain information. By the way, the first one is rhetorical question. Second one, general statement. And then, like many of you, I believe search engines are a big boon to us all. It is advantageous to us all. Perfect. An introduction like that, I'm expecting now that the two body paragraphs are regarded or are supposed to be what? A support to your point of view. Yani that would support this point of view and that would support your point of view as well. Let us see it here together. تعالوا نشوف بقى يا شباب what we wrote here. One thing I love about search engines is the way it provides us with the plethora of information. Many pieces of information. Tons of plethora. And that's what, Mr. Less common vocab, which is needed. Yeah, Yusuf, you're not answering me. Which we need here. Mister, what do you consider this one? This is a topic sentence. Right. Then what will happen later? I'm expecting support. It could be support sentence 1, support sentence 2, and at the end, they're going to be what? A concluding sentence. Remember this. You cannot write an idea after an idea without supporting the idea that you started with. So you need to support. And that support could be more than one support. This is something very important. Right. Even I have got a main idea here, topic sentence, or I'm going to call it what? Main idea if you want. Main idea. Now let us see how it is supported. خدوا عندكم بقى. It is no-brainer. I want you, please underline this. It is no-brainer, like undoubtedly, without a shadow of doubt, surely. You understand? Remember this. It is no-brainer that we open Google, for example, all we want to know is just a click away. Mister, this is كمان idiom. Mister, do you think that this is support number one? Yes, of course. It supports the main idea, which is what? One thing I adore about search engines is the way it provides us with a plethora of information. It is no-brainer that if we open Google, for example, all we want to know is just a click away. What else? Whether we want to search for an encyclopedia entry, read news, or find an answer to a bewildering question, to a confusing question, search engines have it all. Another idiom, another Mr. Support. That's support number two, support number one. Both of them supporting the main idea in the search engines is the way it provides us with a plethora of information. What else? As a consequence, what is this, Mr.? Huh? Support three. Support three. As a consequence, as a result, enrichment of knowledge becomes effortless. If you want to enrich your knowledge, it's quite easy. It would never require like effort. And what follows will be what? Improved exam results. Wait a minute. يبقى support 1 and even improved exam results, that's support 4. Believe it or not. One simple idea, but of course general idea. You have, if you want like a topic sentence, a main idea, it has to be what? It has to be very general. So you can what? Support it with what? With specifics. And then what else, teacher? And then at the end, you say what? Search engines indeed make us knowledgeable and informative. That's a concluding sentence. This concluding sentence may take you back to the first sentence or no, but it is really a good one. You got it? So, Mr. Rather than, and this is what I meant, rather than, Ya Ali, Ya Raja, rather than writing more than one idea, you know, like I hate people to say like what? First, second, moreover. You understand? That's nonsense. You can write 2 ideas, by the way. A paragraph could what? Could contain 2 ideas, but with support. A paragraph could what? Could be built based on 1 idea, but with many supports. You understand? This is what we should be doing. This is what we should be thinking when we write a what? A body paragraph. You understand my idea? تعالوا, let us see another paragraph. It is almost the same. Yes, I understand. Some people can say moreover and they add another idea, but you never say moreover without supporting the previous what? The previous idea. At least 1 support sentence or 2. Right. Let us go to the second one and see where is the main idea and the specific or the supporting details. Are you ready? Yalla. Apart from that, in addition to that, I cherish the idea or the way. I cherish the idea or the way. Cherish exactly like I adore. I treasure. I treasure the way search engines save our precious time. See? It's about what? It's about saving time. So surely this paragraph has to do with what? With how to save your time using such what? Search engines. That's the big idea. That big idea needs to be what? Supported. Let us see the support. Support 1. With high-speed internet at your disposal, okay, a click away, we can find anything we desire promptly. Promptly means what? In a very short time. As a matter of fact, in a jiffy, like on the spot. طيب, instead of, but this is support, طبعا support 1. Instead of devouring piles of books and rushing from library to library, with a good browser, we can acquire information at the stroke of a pen. Support 2. So instead of, what does mean devouring piles of books? You know, people in the past, they used to what? to go to the library and just find books and then just turn over pages to make sure that the information they are looking for is there. So they read very quickly and they are eager and they are very enthusiastic to do this because they want to find a piece of information. But here, saving time. So instead of devouring piles of books and rushing from library to library with the good browsers, we can acquire information at the stroke of a pen. Mister, another idiom, by the way. It's all about synonyms. It's all about less common vocabulary. It's all about using some good idioms. And I'm going to provide next time what are the idioms that you need to use when writing what an article or an essay writing. Right. This is support 2. Are we going to have another support? Most probably. This means, whenever you write, this means that support number 3. That we can invest our valuable time more productively and more can be achieved, as in this hectic world, time is money. In this busy world, time is money. Mister, support 3? Oh, Allah Azim, support 3. Then, at the end of the paragraph, we come to write what? A concluding sentence. Undoubtedly. It starts this way. Undoubtedly. Undeniably. Without a shadow of doubt. In fact, indeed. Browsing is less time consuming than reading books. And by the way, this concluding sentence takes us back to the what, Yabni? To the big idea, which is what I cherish the way search engines save our precious time. Almost the same, but reworded or restated. You understand? Yeah, this is another paragraph. Mister, do I have to write a third paragraph? You might write a third paragraph, but you might write a third paragraph about what? About those people who are against what? Search engines. Those people who appreciate more reading books. Those people who go to this kind of what? Old-fashioned whatever trend. You understand? And then maybe at the end of the paragraph, the third paragraph, you can what? You can refute, do some kind of refutation and say what? They are wrong. They are on the wrong. They are trying to validate their point of view, but their point of view is worthless. You can say that. But if you have time and if you have space, you will have the space, by the way. But if you have time, this is what you can watch. This is what you can do. Then at the end, we write what? The conclusion. We're not going to talk a lot about the conclusion, but this only conclusion in order to be able to read what? To write what? An essay, because I need to mark your essays for next class. In a nutshell, some people will start with what? To conclude. Fair enough. Some people will go for what? To sum up. Fair enough. Some people will go for what else? What else? To conclude, to sum up, to be brief, briefly, in brief. Like that's fine, okay? As far as I'm concerned, your opinion. Somebody will say, what, Mister, I'm going to go for this one, and I want you to write it down. It was my unwavering credence. Like what? I completely or I totally believe. You understand what I mean? That's my opinion. I am of the opinion that it is my unwavering credence. As far as I'm concerned, we should all embrace the idea of using search engines as they what? Summary. Summary of what you've mentioned here. What you've mentioned in the first paragraph and in the second paragraph, but in a reworded and rephrased way and in a very brief way. As they provide us with an ocean of information in the twinkling of an eye, very quickly, promptly, they surely are the 21st century's way of finding what? Information. And that's it. If you want to write more, that's fine. There's no problem about it. But this is how we write what, ya shabab, ya banat, we write an essay writing. Remember, in the body paragraph, just select one idea, 2 ideas maximum, and then find support. Find support. This is what you have to be doing. When you write the other the homework, the essay I'm going to give right now. This is the end of our class for today. I want people who are planning to complete the course with me, we are going to create a very another WhatsApp group, so I can send the materials and the recording and everything.